What's up, y'all? This is a couple of dudes with the Couple of Dudes podcast, where a couple of dudes talk sports. Okay, today, me and my man, we're gonna be talking just about NFL, NBA. Maybe even in the future we'll talk about NBA and NFL history.
Maybe. I mean, we might even just talk about hockey because, stuff's going on there.
Yeah, granted it is the off season for NFL and NBA. There's nothing to talk about, so we're going to talk about minicamp.
Yeah, but at least with the NBA, the finals just ended, so we can't talk about that.
Yeah, Warriors deserved it. Just saying.
I mean, I can say I called it Warriors in 6. I texted you before the series.
I called it too. Warriors in 6. Everyone called it. Everyone said the Warriors were going to win in 6, and that's what happened.
I mean, the Celtics did make it close in the first, 2 games. They pushed them a little bit, and then the Warriors were just like, I don't think so.
You can't put a stat on experience, just saying.
No.
Everyone was saying that if you look through all the stats, statistically, it was almost a guarantee the Celtics were going to win this championship. But they lacked experience, they lacked confidence, and they didn't have the heart that the Warriors did.
No.
You know something I learned? If you watch the finals with the sound off, if you watched it muted, and you just watched, you didn't listen to the announcers, you didn't listen to the crowd, you just watched the players play, you watched their body language, it was clear that the Celtics were less confident, less determined, less heart than the Warriors. The Warriors were just a better team at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah. I think we all have to just come down to who wanted it more. And let's be honest, the Warriors, they were at the top of the world for many, many years.
Yeah.
Then they fell off for those, the 2-3 years where where their main players were injured.
2019,
2020.
they lost the finals. And then 2020,
they had nobody.
They had no one.
And then 2021, they had Curry, sure, and they had improved that year. I will give him that. The team improved mightily with him.
They were the worst. They had the worst record in the NBA in 2020. They lost, or they only won 15 games.
Yeah, and then when Curry came back the next season, they won 39.
Yeah.
That just shows how much of a player
Steph really is.
Yeah, how much he impacts
to me,
he's
a top 8 player of all time. He's on my Mount Rush a little less. He's not on my Mount Rush more. He's on my Mount Rush a little less.
Yeah, I could see that. He definitely just changed the game, how it was played. Because, sure, you still had Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, who shot those threes, but it was just not at the clip, and they didn't revolutionize it.
Yeah, Larry Bird. A lot of people say Larry Bird is up there for a top 5 greatest shooter ever. But if you look at his stats,
what did he shoot? 36% from 3 and 2.5 attempts a game or something 2 attempts a game or something like that?
Yeah, he never shot them. And he only shot
Well, for back then, he shot a lot.
Yeah. For back then, granted that's the 80s.
Yeah, and it's been 40 years since then.
Yeah.
So game's a little different.
Love Larry Bird though.
Oh yeah.
Always one of my favorites.
Yeah.
In other news, DK Metcalf was not at the Seattle Seahawks minicamp.
Nor was Terry McLaurin.
It's an unexcused absence.
Nor was Terry McLaurin. He was gone. Dalton Schultz returns for his first day with the Cowboys after getting
I didn't even know he was gone, to be honest.
Well, it's a tight end, man. You only care about Darren Waller, let's be honest.
Yeah, Darren Waller, the GOAT. Best tight end in the league, arguably. Just saying. Continue.
Yeah. Alright, so Terry McLaurin, DK, and then Debo showed up for the first time in a while. So
he didn't want to get fined.
Yeah.
He was already trying to make more money, and he figured, hey, I don't want to lose more money by not showing up to training camp, so he showed up to training camp in order to not get fined.
And then A.J. Brown obviously showed up since he got his bag, but you know what I find hilarious?
He's on a different team now.
Yeah, I know, when they gave him the bag. He wouldn't have showed up to Tennessee Titans training camp, I can tell you
obviously.
that. But you know what I find funny about this entire thing?
What?
All 4 of those players
have the same agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just, it's like, I wonder how much is the agent and how much is the player.
Well, I bet like an old retired player got in Debo's ear. Like, I'd be willing to bet like LaDainian Tomlinson got into Debo's ear and said, dude, running backs don't last very long, so you either pick one. You pick a wide receiver, or you pick what you've been doing, and you get paid right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there is no doubt that he's going to get paid sooner or later. Whether that be by the Niners or by some other team.
See, to me, wide receivers don't really win these types of deals. Like, wide receivers, running backs, they usually, if they don't get paid, they sit out, and then they sign with a different team the next offseason for less money, and both team loses.
Yeah, except for recently, where, I mean, prices on players have just been going up drastically, and if they haven't gotten what they wanted, they're going to sit out. It's this weird age that we've come to.
Thank you for inflation.
Well, inflation and people thinking that their egos are getting a bit...
Yeah.
They're quite a bit bigger now than they used to.
That's why I respect Cooper Kupp. He took a lower deal. He took a team-friendly deal.
Still one of the top 3 highest earners in the league.
In my opinion, the Rams are... I'm not a Rams fan, just saying that right now. But in my opinion, the Rams are the best example of America's team. Because...
But they don't really have the history that the Cowboys do. I mean, the Cowboys aren't as good. Yeah, the Cowboys aren't nearly as good now, but they have so much more history in the NFL than the Rams do.
But then...
Because what, did the Rams have like their 3 glory years back in the early 2000s? With Marshall Faulk and Kurt Warner and those people?
With the West Coast offense and the greatest show on turf? Well, yeah, those are some of the greatest teams of all time.
Yeah, but then you can't say the 70 through 90 Cowboys didn't do anything either. They won what?
I'm not saying
4 or
they
5
didn't do anything.
Championships. They had some of the most iconic players in history.
Who? Emmitt Smith?
Not Kurt Warner, Jesus Christ.
Troy Aikman?
Troy Aikman, thank you.
Overrated, but still.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think we can all agree on that. But, like, they were the NFL back then.
I know, absolutely. The Cowboys, the Niners back in the day spent all that money on on their free agents. They got, in 94, they got Richard Dent. They got Deion Sanders. They got all these guys in free agency. That was the year before the salary cap was introduced into the NFL. And in my opinion, I don't like to use the term buying a championship, but if there was one team in NFL history that bought a championship, it was the 1993-94 49ers.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this has happened throughout history in all sports. If there's no salary cap or less of a salary cap, you're going to have teams. The Brooklyn Nets a couple of years ago. Sure, they may not have bought a championship, but with the amount of picks... They didn't even get to the... but with the amount of picks and money that they gave up to bring in those players is astounding. Dodgers...
It was the second time they did that in the last 20 years.
Yeah, what was it, 2012, 2013?
When they got Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce.
Yeah, when they traded for like 4 first-round draft picks that became Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of crazy to me. But the Dodgers, I think the Dodgers to this day are still buying championships because of... Yeah. I mean, I looked it up. They have
way more salary.
They have $50 million a year, more than the next most team. It's like 250 to like 308.
Yeah, but then there's no salary cap in the MLB.
Yeah, but there was no salary cap back then, so...
Yeah.
So you're kind of... That's like the only really fair comparison. The Rams... I can't say the Rams are buying themselves a championship, but they certainly have done well in getting either team-friendly deals or just backloading money for the future.
They have a lot of nice players. Their players aren't egotistical. Aaron Donald isn't egotistical.
I'm going to retire if I don't get my money.
That's not what he said. He said,
I'm happy with my career.
He said, I'm happy with what I have accomplished.
Yeah,
he said, if I retire, I won't bear a burden.
Yeah, I don't know. That kind of just rubs me the wrong way, where it's like, if I don't get my...
Well, it wasn't like what Deebo Samuel did.
Okay, yeah.
Deebo Samuel straight up said, I want to get traded or get paid. That's what he said.
I mean, yeah. It's a weird scenario.
He threatened for months that he wasn't going to stay in San Francisco if he didn't get paid.
Yeah, it's a weird scenario we're in nowadays. I mean, with just the players wanting huge amounts of money. Because it's like, what player can you be like, yes, I'm going to pay him $50 million a year and be consciously fine about it?
Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald?
What are you talking about? You said, what player can I pay $50 million a year and be consciously fine about it? I would pay Aaron Donald $50 million a year. Absolutely.
I mean, sure,
he's arguably the greatest defensive player of all time, and he's only 30 years old.
Yes, but then he's going to most likely start to decline. I mean...
He's not declining so far.
Yeah, but...
We said that about LeBron 5 years ago.
But that's LeBron, let's be honest. He's kind of like Tom Brady. He spends millions upon millions of dollars
on his body every year.
Yeah, to where he can stay in that shape. And even now, we still are starting to see a decline in it with injuries. And sure, he's still putting up massive points per game, but who are you going to trust the team besides him? Anthony Davis?
He gets injured every time he touches the floor.
Exactly. So it's like, you can't exactly just go off of LeBron's stats, because he's that team. It's either him or Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis isn't even on the court most of the time.
You hear what LeBron has been trying to speak into existence, him joining the Warriors.
I know, and Curry shot him down like a couple of times.
Curry's just like, nah, we're good.
Yeah.
Curry says, you can join us, but you're not gonna manage this team.
No, we already
you're not gonna be the heart and soul of this team. You're not gonna handle the ball. You're gonna slip into your role and do what the coach demands of you.
Oh yeah, which I don't think LeBron will like, because he likes to run a team.
He has to be the guy.
Yeah, which...
And then Curry says...
It's kind of crazy to think that on that team, he'd most likely be like a secondary star / role, kind of like role player.
LeBron,
I guess you could kind of put
a role player on the Warriors. That's crazy.
Yeah, the second best player of all time being a role player.
Hey, slow down. He is not...
Second best player of all time?
No.
Who would you put ahead of him?
Kareem, Kobe.
Really? You'd put Kobe ahead of him?
Absolutely.
See, I'd put Kobe at like 6 to 8. I mean, sure, I don't like LeBron that much.
6 to 8?
Yeah, there are players.
He won 5 championships.
He had prime Shaq alongside of him.
Shaq was the better player on that team, I will admit, but he was one of the pieces in the greatest 1-2 punch in NBA history.
Yeah, but if you're gonna say that even though he was not as good of a player on those championships, we should just put Scottie Pippen up in the top 10. If that's your logic.
But then Kobe later on became like the best player in the world. He became the best player in the world for years and years and years.
What, 3 or 4
and then
years?
won more championships. That is why Kobe is one of the greatest of all time.
I mean, I don't deny that. Sure, is he insanely good? Yes. But would I put him in that top 3, top 4 conversation? I don't think so.
Do you put him in the top 5 conversation?
Yes. It'd be French. I can see why you would put him in the top 5.
Yes. What's your Mount Rushmore?
Ooh.
The NBA.
I would obviously put MJ up there.
That's number 1.
I hate to say it, LeBron probably would have to be somewhere there. I mean, just the longevity that he has.
Continue. That's 4.
Kareem. Oh man. Who would I?
Kobe.
No.
Kobe.
No.
Shaq. Who? Larry Bird? Magic Johnson?
I would put Magic in the same realm as Kobe. I mean, they both kind of did that thing for their teams where the Lakers and Magic still had, Kareem for 2 or 3 years of that and a couple of championships, so... And Kareem was arguably just as good. So...
On the Lakers.
Yeah, so
but
I don't know.
The thing is, my argument for Kareem being the second greatest player of all time is because he had the one shot that no one could guard. Not one person could ever guard Kareem's skyhook. And he was just disgusting.
Well, yeah, he was also a lot bigger than everybody else.
Yeah, of course. He was 7'1" with like an 8'6" wingspan.
Why do you think Wilt Chamberlain dominated? Why do you think Bill Russell absolutely dominated? Because they were so much physically bigger than everybody else.
Bill Russell was like 6'6".
Okay, yeah, but he was still big for that time. He was what? No, I think he was like 6'8", 6'9".
Potato, same thing.
Oh yeah,
but
2 to 3 inches. Same
thing. Doesn't matter. Bill Russell had an incredible role of supporting cast around him with guys like John Havlicek, Bob Cousy, Dave Cowens, guys like that. And
I'm not denying that they had a smaller league, weaker system.
Would you take Bill Russell over Wilt Chamberlain?
Heck no.
Exactly.
Is he still good? Is he still a really good top 50 player of all time? Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, the people who say that he's a top 5 player of all time are ridiculous.
God no.
Okay, so you gave me your Mount Rushmore. What is your Mount Rush a little less?
Either the loser of the Kobe Magic scenario, Shaq, Tim Duncan, and Steph.
Okay. I got my Mount Rushmore is MJ, Kareem, Kobe, and Magic.
Okay.
And then my Mount Rush a little less is Steph, Larry Bird, Shaq, and LeBron. That is my Mount Rush a little less. And if anyone wants to argue, they're wrong.
Dang, alright. He's just putting it out there.
They're wrong. LeBron is a cancer to the locker room, cancer to teammates. He manages teams when he has no...
And poorly. I mean, we saw how the Russell Westbrook thing ended up.
He forced the GMs to trade away all of their... He forced the GM to trade away all of
his assets.
All of the young talent that they have in... They didn't bring back Lonzo. Oh, wait, no. That was a while ago. I'm thinking, yeah.
They traded away Brandon Ingram.
They traded away Brandon Ingram, Lonzo, Julius Randle,
Kyle Kuzma, I still think Kyle Kuzma is a solid, if not good, NBA player.
Kuzma's underrated.
I like Kuzma a lot. I mean, I liked him back in his days with the Lakers.
Mm-hmm. And then KCP, Montrezl Harrell.
Which I still don't understand the KCP hype. I mean, is he good? Yes.
He's alright.
Is he anything special? No.
No.
Absolutely not.
He was one of the only good young bright spots on that team.
Yeah, because they didn't have any young assets thanks to LeBron.
Yeah. Exactly. The only young asset they still have on their team is THT.
Ooh.
Yeah. Exactly.
9 point per game scorer. Let's go.
Exactly my point. But I'd say we've made our mark for a debut of the Couple of Dudes podcast.
Yeah, though I feel like we kind of did. Here, let's talk about NFL stuff.
We got really off track.
Let's talk about NFL stuff real quick because we completely just went off NBA the entire time. So let's try to bring it back to the roots. Just bring it back to the NFL real quick. So I mean,
first of all, why is everyone sleeping on the fact that the Raiders now have arguably the best edge rush duo in the league with Chandler Jones and Max Crosby?
Because their DBs suck.
But still.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing with the Niners. Our edge rusher's quite good.
Your edge rusher. Who's your other edge rusher?
God, who was the guy that we got in the second round?
You don't even remember his name.
No.
In the second round of the draft.
He was arguably the best edge rusher in the entire draft class. Drake Jackson.
You are high. You are. What about Trayvon Walker, Aiden Hutchison, the 1 and 2 pick?
Okay, yes, they were better. He's like the tier down from that.
Kayvon Thibodeau.
I like Kayvon Thibodeau as an Oregon fan, but he was just injured way too much. And it seems like some games, because I watched every single Oregon game that was on TV.
He was projected to go number 1.
Oh yeah, but then this year he started off the year injured, didn't play the first 3 games.
NFTs. He's into NFTs and he has a big ego. So he fell to number 5, but still. You saying that Drake Jackson being the best?
No, I don't think he's the best. I think he's like.
You just said he was the best.
He could be up there in the conversation.
He's arguably the best edge rusher in the draft.
Okay, maybe
that's what you just
maybe
said.
As a Niners fan, I was exaggerating a little.
Exactly.
Shut up.
Of course, I have hope for Zamir White. I have hope for Neil Farrell. I have hope for guys like Dylan Parham that got drafted to the Raiders. But these guys, they're drafted in the 3rd round or later. So I'm not saying Dylan Parham's going to be the best offensive lineman in the league. I'm not saying he's going to be the best offensive lineman in the draft. But would I love that? Of course I'd love that.
Well, you had no tech because your line sucks.
What? Yeah, line does suck. Except for Colton Miller. Colton Miller's really good.
Woo. There's 5 O-line positions. You got one good one.
Colton Miller's good.
He can't block four or 5 guys at once.
Other than the 50 flags a season for Alex Leatherwood, he's not that bad at blocking.
Only besides the 50 flags. Yeah, only.
He was the most penalized player in the league last year.
And when did you guys draft him again?
26th overall. He was a reach.
No, he was 17th overall, stupid.
Oh, he was?
Yes, it was a rhetorical question. I knew the answer.
Oh,
yeah, makes your 26th time a bit worse, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Knowing that it wasn't a late round first.
If he was a late first rounder, that'd be a way better pick.
Yeah.
But he was a reach.
He was a mid first, yeah.
He was a reach.
Alright, so then, God, what's his name? Jaquaski Tart, the drop king himself, got
he can go
signed
drop
to the...
wide open interceptions in Philly.
Yep, got signed to the Eagles for some small deal that no one cares about.
He's Jaquaski Tart, he's not going to get a huge deal.
Well, yeah, what you would have to be high or the Raiders to sign him to a
Mark
big
Jackson
deal.
Is not historically the smartest guy, but still, he's got the best haircut in the league. If the owners, but still, everyone is sleeping on the fact that the Raiders have arguably the best defensive or the best edge rushers in the league with Chandler Jones and Max Crosby. The only team I could see possibly combating that is the Chargers with Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack.
And even they're now outside linebackers. Unless, because, they both played left outside linebacker?
They're both outside linebackers, yes.
So are they going to move Joey back down to edge?
Probably. They're probably gonna move them both down to end. Or they're just
then who would be their outside linebacker?
Or they're just gonna move Khalil Mack to other outside linebacker.
Right outside?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
but Chandler Jones is going to play defensive end for the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Max Crosby was already playing defensive end. I'm saying if this man does not have superstar in Madden 23, I'm going to flip something. Same thing with Hunter Renfrow. If Hunter Renfrow does not have superstar, I'm going to be pissed. He's going to have superstar.
1 year is not enough for a player to be just completely already just moved up to superstar. Sure, I mean, he didn't even have that amazing of a year. What was it, 1,100 receiving yards?
Yeah.
He
was the only receiver Derek Carr had to throw to.
Exactly. So it's like
he was the only receiver.
He was a superstar by
towards the end of the season when the Raiders went on that huge winning streak. Of right after when we beat the Browns in week, what was it, 14?
Yeah,
something like that.
13, 14.
Right after we beat the Browns, we went on a huge winning streak to put us in the playoffs. And the middle of the season, we don't talk about that because we lost to the goddamn Giants. And We lost to the Giants and like the Eagles.
You mean the greatest QB of all time, Daniel Jones?
Yeah, don't talk to me. But the Raiders' future's looking bright. I'll say that. I'd say
Except for your lack of picks.
The Broncos. We do have a lack of picks, yeah.
And cap space.
But we're good on cap. We still have like a spare 20 mil.
Sure.
We do.
Yeah, but then you probably backloaded every single contract you have.
Yeah, we extended Max Crosby on a huge deal, 4 years, $99 million. Well, technically, it was $98.98 million to match his jersey number.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Pointless. But, and then, not to mention, we also extended Hunter Renfrow for another 2 years.
And what was that, like $12.5 million a year?
I want to say it was like a total of $32 million.
All right, yeah, I knew it was a 2-year contract.
That's a really good deal.
A 2-year extension. Yeah, I mean, I think he definitely got that payday that like every wide receiver hopes of, because it's like he had that one good year.
He deserved it.
Yeah, but he had mediocre years the rest of it.
Most underrated receiver in the NFL, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, because you're a Raiders fan. Of course, you're gonna say that about your players.
Yeah, I know I'm gonna say that about my players.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like Hunter Renfrow, believe me. Don't get me wrong about this. I do think he is underrated. I do think he is quite a good player. Just, is he worth $16 million a year when he only put up that one good season and 2 or 3
I'd say
okay
Hunter Renfrow's
seasons?
numbers are gonna go up this year.
Really, with Devontae Adams
because
and still Zay Jones?
Zay Jones isn't on the team anymore.
Oh wait, did he get traded?
Zay Jones was in free agency and he signed with the Jaguars because the Jaguars hella overpaid for every player they signed.
That sounds like the Jaguars.
Yeah, we like creating chaos because we see that's the Jaguars. And
because our owner looks absolutely atrocious.
Look
it up, boys.
The Raiders signed DeMarcus Robinson to be their number 3 guy. He's better than Zay Jones.
No. Number 4 wide receiver on the Chiefs organization.
He's a number 3 wide receiver. Tyreek Hill. It went Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman, DeMarcus Robinson.
Ooh. Did you ever hear about him making any big plays?
No. But we don't need him to make big plays when we already have Darren Waller, Devontae Adams, and Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah.
We only need him to get, 600 receiving yards?
Which I think he did get around that last year, like 550 to 650 or something like that last year. So, I mean, I don't know.
We don't need him to be up there, best wide receiver in the NFL. We need him to be...
Well, no.
We need him to fit into his role.
Yeah.
And catch wide open passes in overtime against the Ravens week 1.
How do you know it's going to go into overtime?
Because last year it did. Remember last year, week 1, the Raiders played the Ravens and it went to overtime and we got the ball back. The Raiders started with the ball, messed it up, we got a
Surprise.
messed it up, and then the Ravens got the ball and they blew it completely, and then the Raiders got the ball and they sent Zay Jones on like a post route, and he was wide open. There was no one within 30 yards of him, and Derek Carr just whoop right to him, rainbowed the ball straight into his hands, scored a touchdown, won the game, week 1 against the Ravens. Just saying.
Are you playing the Ravens again week 1 this year or no?
No, we're playing the Chargers week 1 this year.
Well, that's even worse.
That's a big revenge game.
You guys are screwed.
The Chargers are gonna be pissed because they lost to us last year, week 18. Because the Chargers suck. Listen, if your team has Justin Herbert, Mike Evans, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Joey Bosa, Austin Eckler. If your team is that stacked and you miss the playoffs, that's on you, brother.
They were just weak everywhere else. I mean, they have a lot of, well, besides Darwin.
They had Derwin James. Yeah, I forgot about him.
And Nasir Adderley isn't bad. He isn't bad.
I feel like Derwin James is like the most forgettable player in the league. Like I always forget he exists.
I always forget Vita Vea exists, even though he's like the best D tackle in the league.
It's not particularly debatable. It's not particularly close.
Yeah, no. I mean, the only person I...
Oh, wait, no. Aaron Donald.
No. The news talks about Aaron Donald like every single 2 days. They're like,
Aaron Donald.
Oh my god, Aaron Donald the god.
I forgot that Aaron Donald was a D tackle. No, Aaron Donald's the best defensive tackle in the league, and it's not even close.
Yeah, obviously.
Aaron Donald is head and shoulders above everyone else who's at the D tackle position. Yeah. There's no one who can even sniff his position. He is hands down the best.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about that. He's generational talent.
Exactly. But I'd say that's about good. Half hour in there.
Wait, don't forget Stanley Cup Finals. The Avalanche whooped up on the Lightning 7-0 to take a 2-0 lead in the series.
To be honest, I didn't even know that those two were in the finals.
Yeah, see, I didn't. I barely pay attention to hockey. I just was at like a event thing, and they decided to put it on, so I was just like, oh, this is interesting.
I couldn't name. I don't think not one hockey player.
Oh, no. Well, I can name a hockey player. Just on any of those two teams, absolutely not.
I cannot name any hockey player, like, in the entire league.
I mean, you could probably just throw... I don't want to be rude to all you hockey fans,
Kravchenko, something.
But you could probably throw together some sounds and create a hockey player.
You could throw together, like, 6 consonants and, like, 2 vowels, and you have a hockey player.
Daishevsky Pokolev or something like that. It's like, huh?
Yeah, it's impossible.
I remember I did a fantasy hockey one year where I just drafted the funniest sounding names.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, that sounds really funny, Henry.
Team sucked, but like, hey.
It sounds really funny.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's a great way to make our debut amongst the podcast industry. But that was a couple of dudes. We are a couple of dudes, and we are on the Couple of Dudes podcast. We are a couple of dudes talking about sports.
Peace out for now.
I'll see you later.